To study the dystopian genre, I watched the film Modern Times, a silent black and white film directed and starring Charlie Chaplin. This classic comedic movie follows the misadventures of an unnamed factory worker who spends his entire day, every day, mechanically turning bolts on a large machine among hundreds of other men, carrying out similar menial tasks. When the owner of the factory decides to use him as a test subject for a new, poorly functioning device meant to increase productivity, the worker suffers a nervous breakdown, sending him to the hospital for 2 weeks. When he comes out, he finds himself jobless and without a purpose in society, but ready to do whatever it takes to get by. Unfortunately for him, he always seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, landing him in and out of jail, always out of a job. The movie ultimately culminates with him and his new girlfriend, equally destitute, on the road as jobless fugitives, who, although helpless, are optimistic that things will turn out for the better in the end. Because it lacks the dark overtones of other dystopian films, it might seem like it doesn't work, but when analyzed, it was clear that it was intended to fit within this genre. It begins by presenting the everyman protagonist as both a victim and a participant in the disaster, big business and mass industrialization. The factory owner has such tight control over his workers, he's able to exploit them however he wants to increase production. He begins by gradually speeding up the rate in which Chaplin's character must screw in bolts. Then, when he notices Chaplin clocking out for his lunch break, he decides to try making him utilize an automatic feeding machine so he can continue working at the same time. Later on, when the upset workers try to unionize and strike, they end up all getting arrested. Throughout the story, nearly every aspect of Chaplin's life is at the beck and call of the authoritarian superiors, who live in extreme comfort when compared to Chaplin. Whether he is in jail or free, can eat or must go hungry, has a job or not, or can build a romantic relationship or not, it's all based on where the big business or the government puts him. Overall, Charlie Chaplin warns us that if we continue to trust big industrial corporations that try to use automation to increase production, we could be headed towards a society where our lives are meaningless, a meaningless cog in a greater system that allows the wealthy to get even wealthier, benefiting from the poorer people who do the grunt work of the labor.